Tonight on Joy News Prime, the police in Sunyani retrieve the intestines of one of the boys killed with body parts stashed in a fridge in Abesim in the Bono region. We'll bring you details now. If you flout road traffic regulations with careless abandon, then your time is numbered. The Ghana Police Service outdoors over 3,000 traffic cameras to go after lawless motorists.
Makes us able to arrest you when you commit these offenses. There are special.
Also here on Joy News Prime, 2 MPs petitioned Shraj to investigate the death of 7 people during the 2020 elections, insisting Ghana's democracy will be undermined if perpetrators go unpunished.
The matter that is cross-cutting, and that is why Shraj is best placed to conduct these investigations. So I would not go see the new IGP. I believe that Shraj should be given room, given all the support to carry out these investigations.
In business, a contract that made no economic sense, Imani Africa's Vice President Selom Brantier reacts as Bank of Ghana wins a case brought against it by Sipton Switch over the termination of the retail payment system infrastructure in 2017.
They were going to build an infrastructure and operate and transfer to the government. But at the rate at which they were doing that build, operate and transfer, it did not even make economic sense.
And later in the bulletin, 2 boys knocked by speeding vehicles and could not walk now have the needed prosthetics to support them realize their dream of walking again.
First,
My name is Ernest Mino, and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our studios at Kukumemle in Accra on your digital TV because we are free to air. We're on DSTV channel 421, Go TV 144. This is your home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in. Hello again, many thanks for joining us. Tonight, it is a call for justice by 2 members of parliament, Samuel Okudzeto Ablak of Norton and Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa of Elembele. They have filed a petition at the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, asking that it investigates the deaths that were recorded during the 2020 elections. The petition is lodged against the Ministers of Interior and Defense, as well as the Inspector General of Police and the Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces. They want disciplinary action taken against them and any official working under them found to have abused their power and violated the rights of citizens in the deaths and injuries recorded. Mr. Blakwa spoke to my colleague, Kwesi Parker Wilson.
We have reviewed the videos, we have footage that we have compiled, and in carrying out this work, we have been amazed at the level of evidence available. That for more than 7 months, the police and national security apparatus we claim to be investigating cannot even give us an update. The number of video footage, the volume of video footage from you in the media, I mean, Joy News has been fantastic. I mean, if you look at Techimansa, you look at Ablekuma Central, you have footage. I mean, amateur productions. In this digital age, people have smartphones and they are always capturing what is going on. All of this available, and yet officialdom claims to be investigating and yet not a word. I hold in my hands here the statement that the National Election Security Task Force issued on the 10th of December, where they confirmed the killings. At the time, they said 5 deaths recorded during the election 2020. But somebody like Ibrahim Abbas of Ablekuma Central was battling for his life. Subsequently, he died. So the numbers went up. But this is their own statement, the 10th December 2020 statement. The National Election Security Task Force deems the incidents recorded to be incidents that could have been avoided and therefore condemns their occurrence and promises to investigate each of them.
But that
National
investigation you are
Electricity
told
Tax was.
is ongoing. The investigation you are told is ongoing. So why don't you wait for the police to conclude the investigation on these issues before you run to trial?
We first of all, as members,
you don't believe the police will do a good job?
As members of Parliament,
Right.
we've run our checks. We don't believe there's any credible investigation going on.
You don't believe there's any credible investigation going on?
We don't believe there's any credible
The
investigation.
Ghana Police Service is not investigating the death.
There is no.
We recorded during the election.
There is no credible investigation going on. And we do not even think that the police should be investigating itself in this matter. In a matter that they are so culpable, so guilty as sin. We do not believe that they should be investigating themselves. It's so incestuous. The conflict of interest is glaring. We take the view that Shraj is an independent body. It has no vested interest. It is neutral. It is far removed from these matters. And they have the constitutional mandate. They should be allowed to investigate. That is our view. We do not have any confidence that some credible investigation will be carried out by a Ghana Police Service, which, as we speak, cannot even interdict. You see officers shooting into crowds. What happened to professional training on crowd control?
You don't know the internal directives and measures put in place to deal with the perpetrators of this act.
This is a matter of...
Have you checked with the IGP?
This is a matter of enormous public interest.
Right.
It is not for us to be going into the police service to find out about internal arrangements. If there had been an interdiction on this matter, some sanctions, they will have issued a statement, they will have made it public. Nothing has happened. People are being shielded. The commander-in-chief refuses to talk about this matter. And an impression is being created in this country that during elections, you can kill people and get...
He's also warned the government against interfering in the work of Shraj.
This is a matter that is cross-cutting. And that is why Shraj is best placed to conduct these investigations. So I would not go see the new IGP. I believe that Shraj should be given room, given all the support to carry out these investigations. And I have no doubt that if Shraj is allowed, no interference, no effort to sabotage them or to place impediments in their way, they have the capacity. They have such a fine reputation, is well regarded, is one of the foremost human rights ombudsman institutions anywhere in the world. Well respected. I have no doubt that they can execute this mandate and present to us a report that will help our democracy, that will even help improve how election security should be conducted in subsequent elections. So let's allow the process to run its course. Let's allow Shraj to do its work. There should be no impediments. There should be no attempt to interfere. Yes, I know some of these ministers are powerful ministers, but you cannot...
Is it your suspicion that they would is likely that they will interfere in the work of the
You cannot be more powerful than the Constitution, than constitutional bodies. And you see, we need strong institutions, and strong, not only strong institutions, but strong personnel who man these institutions, who should assert the authority. They are protected by our laws, and they should carry out their mandate without fear or favor. They should not be intimidated at all. And I have every confidence in Shraj, that Shraj will do a good job.
Well, at the heart of this petition are human lives affected by the actions of the security agencies. In the Dodo constituency, 2 persons died. I returned to that constituency a week after the December 7th post and spoke to the family of 15-year-old Rita Otu, who were visibly devastated by her death.
Na bua ke mbile egbo anu kwale ke mtoma na anu kwale onti ha ekwe lele beni ya mbile wo eta
mbe ka
lo mi akelete kolebuwe ni kashi oni ti akwe ni kwele le mbile le no kashi. Ofane dabi. O kami e fine. Ebo mo bo shikengele wie. Ebo enu. Ke ya kami chele fonda. Bianele fridge. Inka abo modeni awamini afun bile eham ale ebe apa.
So she's explaining that she actually got a call that her daughter had died, and so she followed up to the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. That was after voting, when she had gone about her regular business, and then indeed she confirmed for herself that the daughter, 15-year-old Rita, had died. And from what she tells me, she really does not listen to her instructions, especially on her movements. Whenever she's asked not to move out, she would unfortunately not listen to the instructions. And so it is very sad that this had happened, and they are asking for support to be able to bury the young lady who died on election day. Also in the Ododo constituency, the family of Emmanuel Dompre, who died in the polls, say they have lost their breadwinner.
We were there as soon as the polls ended. So the MPP were jubilating. They said they have won the parliamentary seat over in Ododo. So we were all there at the hotel when they started jubilating and started doing their jama.
And this is the hotel where the shooting happened?
Model Hotel at Koloko. Okay. So we were there only. The MPP jama. They come along with bottles, plastic, stones, and crates, mineral crates. So we were there with the Emmanuel Dompre, our brother, who was just demise. So we run away, but we don't know where our brother passed before he met his untimely death.
What kind of person was he?
Oh, he was a cool guy.
Embassy atwambla tun edo oni ka o bla imbla ni kele bi ani no ni atwale to amika o ba ni mbamba teje ni mbanga eshina ana eshina ko dabi ba fani maya Korle Bu e bonu we ya o lele atwale to edo.
So he is a brother, and he's telling me that he's the eldest of them. There are 7 brothers. And he heard the news when he went to Choko. He received a phone call and was told that the brother had been shot. When he came home, he didn't find anybody home, so he followed to the hospital, which is the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, and that was where the death of his brother was confirmed. Now, away from electoral violence and that petition filed as charged, the people of Abesim Dominasi area say they are petrified following the revelations in the case of the murder of the 15-year-old at Abesim. Now, a team of clinical and social psychologists, as directed by the IGP, have today commenced counseling sessions for the families of the children and the community. Issa Ibrahim, the assemblyman of Abesim Dominasi electoral area, has been speaking to Joy News.
We were informed yesterday that IGP has detailed a team of social psychologists and clinical psychologists to come and have a counseling session with the Dominasi, precisely Alaska community, to engage with them because this murder incident has been a shock to the entire community. Parents are finding it difficult even to leave their walls behind and go for work. Currently, we know the basic school, primary school are on vacation. The kids are in the house. And it's a difficult moment for the community. It's a very difficult moment. If you see 2 or 3 people talking, is this issue is become the talk of town, and not only just the talk of the nation. It's shocking. Murder case does happen sometimes, but not to that extent. An extent of mutilating and butchering a human being and refrigerating the parts that you butchered. It's serious. It's petrol.
Now, he noted that the parents are still in shock, though they have been trying to console them, and welcomes the counseling session.
It's not been easy for the family since last 3 days. It's not been easy. We've been talking with the family. We've been trying to console them, but it's not easy. It's not easy to see your son being butchered, not only just killed, but the son's body cut in parts, and kept in a freezer. It's horrifying. It's a horrible kind of sin, and the parents indeed need social psychologists and clinical psychologists to indeed talk with them, counsel them. It's I don't know. It's a serious.
And the latest on this is that the police in Sunyani has retrieved the intestines of one of the boys killed with body parts stashed in a fridge in Abesim in the Bono region. According to the police, the suspect, Richard Apia, during a rigorous interrogation, disclosed that he hid the remaining parts of the children he allegedly killed on a cocoa farm. However, the police disclosed to Adum News' Christian Ofori Kuma that the genitals of the boys are still missing. Well, the police has issued a statement on this. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me via Zoom with details. Kweku, what is the police saying in the statement?
All right, Enes. So the police in this statement says the Criminal Investigation Department investigating the murder discovered a place where suspect Richard Apia buried the intestines of one of the murdered victims. The intestines were buried in a cocoa farm at Abesim, which the police have since exhumed for pathological analysis and forensic examination in Accra. The investigation team has also worked around a septic tank, another place of concern for further examinations. 2 sharp cutlasses with blood stains used by the suspect to commit the crime were retrieved from the scene. The acting Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Kufu Dampare, has directed the counseling department of the service to provide trauma reduction therapy, counseling, and other psychological support for the affected families whose relations were murdered in Abesim. In furtherance of this directive, ACP Phyllis Osei, Director, Police Counseling Unit, and ASP Foster Nanewoto arrived at Sunyani on Tuesday, August 24, and visited the family of Louis Ajim, one of the murdered victims, to hold a counseling session to help reduce the trauma. The team later proceeded to visit the family of the second victim, Stephen Boatin, at Abesim, Alaska Junction, and the same counseling sessions were held with the family. So this statement essentially confirming 2 things. The first, that some body parts have been exhumed in Abesim, and the second part, that the IGP's commitment to ensuring that these families receive the necessary trauma lessons have all been undertaken. And so far, ACP Phyllis Osei, who is the Director of Police Counseling Unit, together with members of her team, are currently in Abesim to provide the support for the families. Okay, good.
Thank you very much for bringing us those details from the Ghana Police Service on this case of gruesome murder at Abesim. Now, it is a fresh move by the Motor Transport and Traffic Directorate of the Ghana Police Service to crack down on dangerous driving to keep the country's streets safe. The Directorate will be using over 3,000 intelligent video surveillance cameras positioned at major intersections, strategic locations, and government installations to monitor and capture motorists who drive recklessly. So far, the center has captured 200 road offenders who are being prosecuted. Almost every road network in the regions of the country can be seen at a 24-hour surveillance center. Hannah Odami took a tour of the center and now reports.
The center has in 2 weeks captured 200 road offenders. These people had parked on unauthorized places, jammed red lights, and engaged in overspeeding, among others. Armed robbers will also be caught because the cameras are on virtually every major road in the country.
I noticed an offender. He's not supposed to park on the road. This is termed as unauthorized parking. I get a video of the area, zoom get the cars or the pictures are being taken. There's a software being embedded in the camera, which is called ANPR, Automatic Number Plate Recognition. It takes a shot of the number plate registration. That's how evidence is being captured.
Then what do you do with it after?
So after that, it's been, let me say, piled up, and then at the end of the day, it's been sent to our senior officers, and they are being contacted for prosecution.
Supervisor at the center, Chief Superintendent Joseph Zanu, believes this will help instill discipline and also reduce the carnage on the country's roads.
Wherever you started your journey, once our cameras are looking at you, we are able to play back what happened when you drive on our way. So technically, the cameras are not the normal CCTV cameras. They are special cameras that have special security features that makes us able to arrest you when you commit these offenses.
Commissioner in charge of Police Administration, Superintendent Dr. Samuel Sasu Mensah, notes, though the police is not out to get offenders, motorists should be vigilant because when they are caught, they will not be spared.
The issue is that you don't have to see the physical presence of the policeman on the road. Enforce traffic rules and regulations. We are, as at now, going to use this type of system to make sure that drivers who flout traffic rules and regulations are arrested and prosecuted.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odame.
The mayor of Accra further highlighted the major road crash hotspots in the city, including the Apenkwa Junction, which recorded 23 deaths within 2018 and 2020 alone.
Between 2018 and 2019, the Apenkwa interchange to Dimples roundabout recorded 23 deaths. It appears Apenkwa interchange is becoming the black spot in Accra. Shiashi to Oponglo also recorded 9 deaths. Apenkwa Junction to Apenkwa filling station also recorded 8 deaths. These are just a few of these places where people lost their lives while commuting on Accra's roads. These statistics are human beings that we have lost. They are not mathematical figures. Knowing the magnitude and risk of road traffic deaths and injuries facilitates the implementation of context-specific and appropriate interventions. Over the years, data from these published road safety reports has informed our interventions in the area of road engineering, police risk factor enforcement, and focus of our mass media and many campaigns. These implemented actions have helped to improve safety on Accra's roads. An example is the mass media campaign on speeding, rolled out in 2019, which helped reduce the prevalence of speeding in Accra from 77% in 2019 to 47% in 2020.
Ekoforidua Circuit Court has sentenced a 37-year-old taxi driver to 30 months in prison for speeding off with an officer of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, lying on his car bonnet. The convict, Daniel Ofori, 38, has been banned from driving for 5 years. He was found guilty of 2 counts of dangerous driving, contrary to Section 383 of the Road Traffic Offences Act 2004, and resisting arrest, contrary to Section 226 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960. Presenting the fact before her, Anna Mercy Ade Kote, the prosecuting officer, Inspector Gershon Dafiamekpo, said the driver was declared wanted by the police for running away after committing a road traffic offence. He was arrested and charged with dangerous driving and resisting arrest, but was granted bail when he pleaded not guilty. The court, however, found him guilty after more than a year of trial. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Mini. We're taking a short break. When we return, we'll bring you business. We'll hear from the Vice President of Imani Ghana, Selon Brantier, who says that The deal with the Bank of Ghana on the symptoms did not make economic sense. Charles Aite will bring you details after this break. Stay with us.
You're welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. Tonight, we're getting reaction from the news that the Bank of Ghana has won the case brought against it by Sipcon Switch over termination of the retail payment system infrastructure in 2017. According to the Vice President of Imani Africa, Selim Brantier, Sipcon Switch Systems contract with the Bank of Ghana did not make any economic sense. We'll hear from him in a bit. First, though, this is a report from my colleague George Rafi, who's been following the ruling by tribunal constituted under the London International Court of Arbitration. Take a listen.
According to a statement issued by the Bank of Ghana, the tribunal also ordered Sipcon Switch to make a substantial payment to the Bank of Ghana in respect to legal fees and cost of arbitration. The tribunal argued that the case was dismissed due to failure of Sipcon Switch Systems to comply with the initial order. This included an award made by the tribunal in favor of Bank of Ghana, which required the company to make an interim award of payment for security costs. On April 9, 2018, Sipcon filed a request at the tribunal seeking a relief of $478 million from the Bank of Ghana. But the Bank of Ghana, in a statement, argued that upon the new management of the central bank assuming office after the 2016 elections, the Bank of Ghana pushed for a review of the contract due to concerns that the tender price was 33 times more expensive than the next most expensive bid. The Bank of Ghana argues that following the termination of the contract with Sipcon Switch in 2017, the Bank of Ghana's subsidiary GIPS was able to deliver the mobile payment system's interoperability at a small fraction of the cost, saving the Ghanaian taxpayer billions of Ghana cedis.
Now, earlier on the marketplace, the Vice President of Imani Africa, Selim Brantier, said if the agreement had persisted, there was not going to be a value for money for the central bank, a situation that wouldn't have hindered growth of the banking sector's payment system.
It's very good news for Ghanaians that we have been able to succeed in this particular case. The main reason is because the basis under which Sipcon itself took this matter up and what they intended to achieve, for all intents and purposes, was quite against the spirit of innovation and the kinds of payment. When we say remuneration for payment gateway-related activities in the country. So for us, it's very welcome news, and it has really justified the decision of the government, as well as the new management of the Bank of Ghana, to cut off those payments and abrogate any deals with that particular company.
But also, let's also look at the reasons assigned to the judgment as well. What's your perspective on that?
Yes, you see, right from the get-go, the procurement processes which Sipcon undertook to get into contract with the Bank of Ghana were not even in the right taste or according to the right procedures. First of all, they did a bid where, as you said earlier, even in your presentation, the nearest bid was about 33% less, 33 times less, rather. And we are looking at a situation where this company was saying that they were going to build an infrastructure and operate and transfer to the government. But at the rate at which they were doing that build, operate and transfer, it did not even make economic sense when you looked at the quantum of mobile money payments and receipts that were happening in the country and even happening as of now. And if you also looked at the fact that they had grossly overcharged for this particular service, when it is just a matter of implementing what in technology will be called an API, or a set of simple, a set of simple systems where one system will connect another, when the companies themselves had already invested. And when I talk about the companies, I'm talking about the telco companies.
Away from that, the management of Ghana Cocoa Board has rubbished an Auditor General's report that expired fertilizers and agrochemicals valued at 23.9 million cedis have been written off from its books by the board in 2018 without parliamentary approval. In a statement, the management said it did nothing wrong as the write-off occurred due to the mismanagement by the former administration. There is more in this report.
The statement said when the current management took over administration in 2017, it was surprised to find out that there was significant volumes of chemicals and fertilizers in stock. It therefore caused an audit to be conducted on the items, which revealed that some fertilizers and agrochemicals valued at 23.9 million cedis had expired. Management subsequently sought approval from the board of directors to write off the value of the expired agro input from the books of Cocoa Board, an approval which was duly granted. Cocoa Board said its management is working with the board of directors for onward submission to Parliament for retrospective approval of the write-off through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. It therefore assured all stakeholders that prudent measures have been put in place to prevent the recurrence of issues of this nature.
I'll be it for business for this segment. Up next is sports. To stay.
Thanks for staying with us. Time to bring you sports. My name is Hans Mensah, and Tema Youth Football Club is getting ready to head to the Court of Arbitration for Sports following Accra Lions' promotion to the Ghanaian top flight next season. My colleague Asari Bediakon has the rest of the story.
Tema Youth Football Club has petitioned the Ghana Football Association seeking to annul the declaration of Accra Lions as winners of Zone 3 of the 2020-2021 Division 1 League. Accra Lions were declared champions of Zone 3 on the basis of their superior goals and head-to-head advantage over Tema Youth, despite both teams finishing the season with 65 points apiece. But Tema Youth is contesting the qualification of the Accra-based club, insisting the appeals committee of the Ghana FA misapplied Article 13 of the Division 1 League regulations. Here is Public Relations Officer of Tema Youth, Eric Collins Odum.
You only go to CAS when you think that you are still dissatisfied with the ruling, or you think that you have been treated unfairly by your local educating processes. And that is how come it is clear in our constitution or the statutes that when you feel dissatisfied, there's another avenue for you, that is Court of Arbitration for Sports. And so I don't think that we are going to the ordinary court to seek redress there or to seek justice there. No. Our association or our sports is governed by a specific, laws and regulations, and that's how come we are heading there. I feel that this very committee of the association, the GFA, and then the appeals committee, and the district committee, as I speak to you now, this case is a clear case of bias. It's a clear case of robbing Peter to pay Paul, because the variations in the two award decisions affected Tema Youth in the 2-point loss. Because in Amidas Professionals, Tema Youth won against Amidas Professionals and got the 3 points on the field of play after 90 solid minutes. And so when the appeals committee ruled that their points should be deducted, Tema Youth lost 6 valuable points from the accumulated points. Accra Lions drew with Amidas Professionals. And so when they expunged the points, they lost only 4 points. And so the 2 points that would have helped me to qualify to the Premier League was just taken off by virtue of the fact that the ruling went in that manner.
Eric Collins Odum is confident the CAS verdict will go in Tema Youth's favour.
And I can speak on all uncertainties. I can tell you that even if you give it to my class 1 people in my house, they will rule this case in favour of me. See, Article 50.6 of the Division 1 League, despite code, says that any judicial competent body can rectify in calculation any obvious error.
Tema Youth Football Club competed in the 2017 Ghana Premier League but got relegated at the end of that season.
Now, former Kumasi Asante Kotoko head coach Masao Didi Dramani has been appointed head of football at Right to Dream Academy. His appointment into the new role is after 3 years as a transitional coach with the Right to Dream owned Danish Superliga club FC in Norgeland. Didi Dramani is confident he will excel in his new role.
Just as others have come to work and then have left, just as others are leaving, I have come to add up what has already been instituted. Right to Dream is a huge component of a football industry where every now and then it keeps evolving, and so it is to redefine the opportunities within the privilege that these identified less privileged individuals find themselves from the remotest quarters of Africa, because Right to Dream moves beyond Ghana, and so is to redefine these projects within the system and to imbibe, a certain approach that has to deal with people identifying themselves, people, finding themselves belonging, people having the responsibilities, people feeling ownership of what they like to do, and then building in our mindset the component of reflection, which really is dear to my heart. That if you have a privilege, definitely there are opportunities within the privilege, and then it is very important that our huge component of the character development has to do with appreciation and then showing of gratitude.
All sports later in the bulletin. That's it for now.
And it's now time for the latest in the world of showbiz. Beautiful Becky is here.
Hello to
with the
you.
Latest.
How are you, Ernest?
I'm fine.
So, you know that we've been talking about Something Must Kill a Man, the play.
The play coming up.
Yeah, but we haven't really had the opportunity to get the idea behind, the inspiration behind Something Must Kill a Man by Lateef Abubakar. He's been speaking on Daybreak Hits this morning.
Be a stage play, huh?
Yes.
In this case, are we gonna? Oh, sorry.
So naturally, when people ask me what is Something Must Kill a Man, I would have said it's a comedy play.
Right.
Yes, it's a comedy play, but there's more to that. This time around, it's a creative and unique training experience.
Okay.
That would actually leave an unforgettable memory on the minds of our trainees.
Okay.
It's going to demonstrate how teamwork, good communication and collaboration contribute significantly to the attainment of what? Our company or organizational goals or whatever work we're actually doing. You understand? We usually do plays that focus on providing solutions to current issues. This time around, we decided to tackle team building and teamwork.
Okay.
But with a research-based reason. So based on Forbes, Forbes is one of the biggest business magazines in the world.
Forbes magazine?
Yes. They did a research and they found out two things. That team building is
Lateef.
Very important there. Lateef
Abubakar there. So we're expecting, that particular play. I'm inviting everybody. You should come.
Yeah, we have tickets at front desk of Joy
FM.
So come grab one.
Yes.
Let's have a good weekend.
Let's talk about Shatta Wale. When was the last time you heard about Shatta Wale or you heard from him?
No, I think he spoke on
Daybreak Hits. Yeah, just
There was something.
But this particular what I'm about to say is it's not about all the controversies and all that. He wants to create jobs for the youth. He's been saying it every single day. Yeah. But then, now is the time to actually put in the work. So he's coming up with Shaxi. I believe you've heard about Shaxi, right?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, wow.
Not a Shatta.
So you don't necessarily have to be a Shatta fan.
Tell me about it.
But Shaxi is an app. It's like a taxi or something like that by Shatta Wale.
So that's the logo there?
Yeah. It's set to be launched next month, and it's just to create jobs for the youth. And so that's what Shatta is doing, and something laudable that we have to congratulate him and support him.
Yeah, youth unemployment is real.
Yes.
I'm sure there are a lot of people in his movement alone who need a lot of support. And so this is laudable.
Big ups to Shatta Wale, and we'll be looking forward to that big launch of Shaxi. But away from Shatta Wale, Jamaica has been trending.
Okay.
You have no idea.
No, you tell me. What's in the trend?
First, Jamaica says he has, some beautiful words to say about Stonebwoy. Let's take that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Becky, for bringing us the latest in the world of showbiz. The news continues on Join Us. Now, this story will bring smiles to your face. 2 boys were knocked down by speeding vehicles, and could not walk. Peter and Moses featured on Joy News' Hotline documentary Crash Young needed prosthetists to support their dream of walking again. Well, the Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. John Kumah, has donated money to make that dream come true. Before we bring you the story of this kind gesture, let's remind you of the story of Peter and Moses.
First, Mayana, no, Nam Tim, down for Kobobo, dear Goloya Bibia. I said, dear, Minan, dear Vintimine, and Kobabia. Intimin swelling until Omunana until I'm the intimin swelling until me and I have it.
Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kumah was at the premiere of Crash Young documentary and was touched by the plight. Today, he fulfilled that promise and paid the full cost of the prosthetics that will last them for 15 to 20 years.
I'm also fulfilling my pledge to help secure a better future for these children. We have committed to provide something that can take them from 15 to 20 years, because for every 3 years they may grow out of it and we need to replace them. So we have committed to something that can keep them up to 15 to 20 years. The hope is that by that time they would have grown, learned some skills, and will be in a position to even carry on without our support. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you and to also add my voice to the pandemic, the national disaster of car accidents in our country. If we are afraid of COVID-19 and it's a global pandemic, I think we should declare a more national disaster awareness on road accidents, because the number of people who are dying and getting injured as a result of road accidents are just too many.
The manager for Asempa FM, Philip Osebunsu, thanked the minister for his generous donation.
Since we began this campaign, this will go down probably as the biggest donation we've received, and for that we say thank you. We hope this will go a long way to bring relief to our 2 young friends and their dreams. One would want to become a pilot in future, and we hope their dreams will not be cut short.
In other stories, there's a race against time to save large tracts of farm produce and other property likely to be destroyed by floods when authorities in Burkina Faso spilled the Bagri Dam. Previous spills have left many residents displaced and several properties destroyed, including farmlands. The impact has been devastating over the years. Sonabel, the agency that manages the Bagri and Pomiega dams in Burkina Faso, has announced that the annual spillage of the dam will take place from Friday, August 27 to Monday, August 30 this year. Farmers near the Poalugu Dam, which on completion will mitigate the damage, say they are ill-equipped to deal with the inevitable destruction. We'll bring you some views on the Poalugu Dam shortly, but Albert Sori, who is the correspondent for the Upper West region, reports. We'll bring you the full report subsequently, but Albert joins us on phone. Albert, we know that NADMO has been engaging the residents to move to higher grounds. How are they taking in that, instruction or warning?
Yes, so today we've been talking to the residents of Poalugu and also Balungu in the Talented district. And what we know is that there is an information center there through which NADMO announced to them to, get ready for any impending floods that may come. And so what is happening is that those of them who have farms in the waterways of the White Volta are trying to see if they can salvage some of the harvest. The problem is that most of their produce is not ready for harvesting. So their only hope is that this time round, the floods should not be as serious as they were last year. It is the only way some of them are hoping to be able to get something out of the farms. But those who can manage to get a little bit of what they can harvest from the farms are trying to rush and do that before the spillways of the Bagre Dam are open from Friday onwards.
But do you see the willingness to move up to higher grounds despite, the loss that will eventually, be recorded?
Yes, so normally in these areas, what we have now are just the farms. The residents themselves live on higher ground. They normally would go to these places just to do the farming. And so for the next few days when the dam is going to be spilled, the expectation, if you get to speak to them, when we speak to them, you get the sense that they are trying to stay away from the farms because this is where, this is the low-lying area where the floods normally would cover. So for these coming days, they will have to stay away from the farms because of that. So there is that willingness, and that is the reason they are rushing to harvest what they can from their farms before any impending floods will come.
And Albert, just before you go, what have they been saying about the promised Falugu Dam, which is supposed to be the solution to this perennial, problem? What are residents been saying about this?
So for the residents in these areas, the expectation was that when this dam is constructed, then every year they will not have to lose their farms anymore, as they've been doing for the last 10 years or so. Now, what we know is that dam the construction has not yet started because they are still doing a lot of preparations in terms of resettling people who have farms in the areas where the land will cover and even the settlements around the area. And so, they are wondering when the construction itself will start. You get the sense that they are a bit apprehensive. They are not happy about the fact that this dam has been promised and they are not seeing any signs of it. So that is the situation. But from what we are learning from the VRA, who are involved in the construction of this dam, in the next 3 years or so, that is when we should be seeing actual work on the dam proper. But for now, they are doing a lot of preparatory work towards the construction itself.
Vice correspondent Albert Sori bringing us details there. Let's move to the Northeast region, and 3 people have been killed at Bentiri in the East Mamprisi municipality after 3 wild elephants invaded parts of the Northeast region. Our correspondent Ilyasu Tanko joins us with details. Ilyasu, what exactly happened?
The detailed report from the National Disaster Management Organization, and in that report, they are saying that the 3 elephants invaded parts of the East Mamprisi municipality and the Yunyo Naswon district. And around 1 o'clock, that they spotted this wild 3 elephants in community called Sombusi, which is in the Yunyo Naswon district, and the animals, we understand, roam to the Naswani community through to Tuna, and when they got to a community called Yankazia, which is bordering the Yunyo Naswon district and the East Mamprisi municipality, they attacked a young man, killed him, and as we understand, they proceeded into the Gwintri area where they killed 2 persons also, and the residents were angry by that, and so they pursued the animals, and as we understand, 2 of the animals have been killed by the residents in the area.
For the 3 who have been killed by these wild elephants, do we know who they are?
Well, according to the report, one is called he's a 30-year-old man, and it is called Hussein Walanti, and he's in the Gwintiri community, and also a boy which has not been identified by this report, and another person who has also not been identified by the report. But as we understand, 3 persons died in this particular invasion of the wild elephant.
And we understand there's a feast over the elephant that has been killed.
Yes, I mean, this is a regular, occurrence. As you remember, 2 months ago, the residents in the Wungu area, precisely around the Misio area, also killed a stray elephant, and many people came around to, carry some of the meat home. So this is exactly what is currently happening in the Gwintiri area. 2 elephants. I can see people rushing in there to have their take of the meat of the carcass. So and that is what is happening in the area.
Ilyasu, thank you very much. We'll be following up on this to see what the wildlife will be doing about this, and how the community would also handle the persons who have been killed as a result of the attack from the wild elephant. Now, meat sellers at the London market in Jamestown for the second time failed to impress environmental health officers after failing to correct some unsanitary conditions pointed out to them a month ago. At the reinspection today, officials issued out another warning to vendors, stressing their shops will be closed down if they fail to remedy the situation. Mamiesi Thompson was with the team and now reports.
Not much had improved when the Clean Ghana team arrived at the meat shop situated in the heart of the London market at Adedenkpo. Apart from the painting of the walls and the health screening of sellers, the main surroundings where the meat is sold still needed much improvement. Rubbish was littered indiscriminately and liquids from the meat had dripped all over. Sanitation officers were disappointed.
You see how you hang all your clothing? We gave you instruction that you should not be hanging your personal clothing within the shop, the walls here, because there's the possibility of the clothing having contamination with the meat. So what you need to do is that this place, you have a large place. Why can't you people take a particular section of the compound here, then you cordon it off, and then put a wooden structure, then you direct all your staff. Anybody who come and you want to change, you have to go and change inside that room. Don't bring any home-used dress inside the meat shop. Are you going to do that? I'll come back again.
Do that within 3 days' time. If you can, you see changes.
But some meat sellers argued it will be difficult to adhere to the guidelines because the unavailability of water and waste bins were major stumbling blocks.
Very, very true, because we have to get some people who take care about the boiler, because formally we do pay some AM people when they come here. They have to give us some dustbin. So when everything is collected, they have to dump it there. And we get this thing. We don't have excess of water here, and that's our major problem here.
We do not have water here, neither do we have waste bins to dispose of rubbish. It makes it difficult to keep this place neat. So they should help us acquire these facilities, otherwise it will be difficult. Environmental Health and Sanitation Director Joseph Asetanga directs them on what to do, failing which drastic measures will be taken against them.
If they have a challenge of getting water company to restore the water, they should come officially to AMA, right, that we need water at the slaughter hub. These are our challenges. We will put up a recommendation letter attached to their request. Until our visit, we were not aware they have water challenges here. They haven't informed. And that day that we came, we asked them to bring a letter, ask them whether they have come up with a letter for us to put up a cover letter to see whether they can restore water for them.
Childhood cancers have been identified as the leading cause of death in children up to the age of 19 around the world, with 300,000 new cases expected to be diagnosed each year. According to the Ghana Health Service, the disease cancer of the eye is one of such cancers that affect children between the ages of 0 to 5. At a stakeholders meeting, the service announced a step up in an effort to improve the medical care of children with the condition through early detection, capacity building in the human resource training, and also development of clinical guidelines. Here's a report by Theophilus Saki.
Initially, I thought my daughter's condition was spiritual, so I prayed fervently for God's intervention. When doctors told me they had to remove her right eye, I decided to trust in God.
That's Salamatu Al-Hassan, Maulom's mother, a victim who suffered from the cancer of the eye. Data has shown that 65 to 70 new children suffer from cancer of the eye. Anecdotally, survival from retinoblastoma in Ghana is estimated to be less than 50% because most patients sadly present late with the disease due to high cost of treatment. Pediatric ophthalmologist of Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Professor Vera Dubia Esuman, explained the reason behind this initiative.
About 8,000 children across the world, but about 50% of them die. So it means that every other child that is detected with retinoblastoma dies. And the story is about the same in Ghana and other sub-Saharan Africa, where our survival rate is less than 50%. So it means that in every child that we see, 2 children we see, 1 of them dies from this condition. But in developed countries, survival is over 95%. In fact, some centers record 100% survival. That means that if you have 100 children with the condition, you may get less than 5 of them dying. Unlike in our part of the world where more than 50% or 50 of them will die out of this. We have been having difficulty with treatment because they don't come early, and those who come cannot afford treatment or they abandon the treatment because sometimes it involves removal of the eye. So that has worsened the plight of these children, and the picture had not been improving that much. So some children have died in the course of time, which pushed some of us who take care of children, and both cancers in the whole body and cancers of the eye, to come together and try and formulate guidelines.
Special advisor to the Minister of Health, Dr. Bafo Ewua, at the stakeholders meeting, outlined strategies to develop a comprehensive and sustainable national strategy for retinoblastoma management.
We aim to conduct collaborative research into the epidemiology, effective way for early detection, therapeutic intervention for advanced stages of retinoblastoma, and genetic studies to determine the biological characteristics of disease. Finally, there will be a continual monitoring and evaluation of the program to ensure success and sustainability.
Theophilus Saki's report for Joy News.
Conditions of some persons with disabilities in the East Mamprusi district of the Northeast region are worsening following non-payment of mandatory disability fund to beneficiaries in the municipality. The beneficiaries have not been paid their share of the common fund since 2018, even though the fund has regularly been paying monies to the Municipal Assembly District Disability Fund. The Assembly authorities claim they were unable to assess the funds due to a financial crisis facing a local bank. The situation has badly impacted beneficiaries who have been left with no money and are now having to resort to alms begging to survive with their families.
I'm sick. I had a stroke sickness since 4th April 2021 up to now. It's not yet sure.
Barry Pahama Apam is a 48-year-old former lotto agent and native of the Northeast Regional Capital. He has had one of his legs paralyzed since his teenage years after suffering post-polio syndrome. His condition left him with a long-term physical impairment and hindered his full and effective participation in society as he became incapable of gainful employment, which is why he became a beneficiary of the Disability Common Fund in that municipality. But even before that, Apam, who had refused to be limited by his condition, was already a local lotto agent, serving a huge customer base scattered across from the Nalerigu township to nearby villages. However, on the 1st of April this year, Apam became completely paralyzed, rendering him permanently ineffective to participate in any socio-economic activities.
That day, I went to our MP house to greet him for his son Finland, and at that place the signal attacked me, and they just took me to the hospital. Up to now, I went to the hospital. They told me that they say I was good Tamale, and I don't have money, and I wrote a letter to the district assembly to help me so that I can go there and see how my signal is. Up to now, they didn't give me anything.
Being a beneficiary of the Disability Common Fund, Apam has written multiple times to the Eastman Precinct Municipal Assembly asking for immediate assistance to be treated, but to no avail.
They paid me on 2018. Up to now, 2019, I couldn't get, 2020, nothing. 2021. And because of the sickness I wrote to them, they didn't listen to me. So I was using what I have and take my care up to now. But I'm now short. I don't have anything again. So I told them to help me. But up to now they did. They say that if I win, they say no money, no money. The conference is not yet come.
The Disability Common Fund is a social protection program aimed at alleviating poverty among persons with disabilities in Ghana. However, beneficiaries of the program in the Eastman Precinct municipality have not benefited from the initiative since 2018. The Municipal Assembly authorities are yet to explain the reason for the delays except to blame the situation on a financial crisis facing the local bank. As a result, dozens of beneficiaries like Apam now live in deplorable conditions, with most of them turning to begging on the street and other public areas as the only option to survive.
I always begging. I always call those my friends. I know they should help me. So that people are helping me so. And the women I was in the market taking duty for them. They are also used to help me so. Up to now, many people are suffering like me. Yes, because disabled have many. And I know because I was a chairman, I know them. They will also have suffering. Because some usually feel tears. Some are just on the ground. They are suffering. But if they talk, they don't listen to them.
Apam was rushed to hospital in Nalerigu in April when he suffered a stroke attack and was subsequently referred to the Tamale Teaching Hospital. However, the father of four couldn't afford it and is currently being managed at home after the assembly failed to respond to his several requests for assistance. Apam is very indicative about his current condition, that he is losing his life, and appealed to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection to intervene.
I want to tell them that they should try their best. Their daughter, their brother had died, so she saved my life for me. If they save a life for me, they save everything. Because I also have children. If I die now, the children will suffer.
Elias Sutanko reporting.
And Joy News will definitely be following this story. We'll make sure we follow up with the authorities to ensure that what is due the persons with disability is given them. You want to stay with us on that. But away from this, commuters plying the Wa-Nadoli Highway in the next few days will be able to get to their destinations without any difficulty. This because P&W Ghanem, one of the four contractors that has been contracted by government to fix major roads washed off by the violent flash floods in the region, has begun work at Goiri. Now, John News' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
Roads and Highways Minister Kwesi Amankwata, in an encounter with the press after flying in a helicopter to the flood-affected areas, pledged to fix the roads in record time, adding that engineers were already tasked to do the road designs ahead of the award of the contracts.
And even on top of their heads, the engineers are coming up with some solutions. We are going to make use of boulders in filling what we call the backfill of the culverts, and do some stone pitching at certain areas, so that we do not experience this again in the future.
PNW Ghanem, one of 4 contractors contracted by the government to fix the roads, began work on Wednesday morning at Goiri, located on the Wanadulu Highway. The Lebanese Ghana-based contractor PNW Ghanem is not new in the road construction industry, as he has been in the region for over 60 years and has constructed more than 80% of the major roads in the region, including some of the roads washed away by the violent floods. Material engineer of the Ghana Highways Authority in the Upper West region, Kofi Ajayi, let me in on what they have been doing since morning.
We are filling in with gravel. So all the sections that were cut off, we are filling it with gravel and then compacting it very well so that any vehicle that wants to cross this section can cross and go to the other side. Later, when the rain stops, then we will put in culverts to allow for the water that cuts the road to be able to cross more effectively.
And so this work that you are doing, how soon are you going to end?
For this section, we are hoping that within maybe a matter of less than 1 week, the road should be open for people to.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali said he is somehow relieved that work on fixing the roads in the region is going according to plan.
We indicated that we were in a difficult situation and we needed to work with record speed, and that is what we have done. On Monday, as announced by the Minister for Roads and Highways, 4 competent contractors were selected to carry on the repair of the road works in the region. And here we are today. Some have started work. 2 other contractors have been sent to their site, and I believe that before the close of the week, they will also be on site.
Although the work is yet to be completed, some commuters are excited of the initial work done by the contractor.
Coming from work every day to school and going back, usually I pass through Dafiama, through Duong to go to Queen of Peace and come through that, in and out, which is about 40 Ghana. And when I come here and they pick the motor and pick me the 15 cities or the 20 cities, it's worrisome. But now that I've seen the grader on site, I'm very, very happy, and I believe strongly that in due course, the road will be very motorable for all possible users for us to come back to normalities. So I'm very glad and very happy seeing the grader on site.
People travel in and out and buy things and then go and sell. Even the revenue that the road generates for the government is also going down. Productivity is also down because workers cannot go to work. But once we have seen that the workers are on site, we are very, very excited.
Beaming with more excitement and smiles is middle-aged Donesia. She was here on Monday accompanying her daughter who was in labor. She told me the struggles they went through.
Where we were going, we have to pass through 2 dangerous places, one of them being a weak ladder. But now I am happy that one of the hurdles at least is removed.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Goiri.
You're watching Johnny's Prime with me, Ernest Mini. We're taking a break. When we return, Charles IT has more business stories for you. Please stay.
And welcome back to Business. I'm Charles Aiji. The European Union and the African, Caribbean and Pacific Group of States are partnering with the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry on the MSME digitalization project. Now, this is to improve access and affordability to connectivity and digital services in the MSME sectors to strengthen the capacity to face the challenges of COVID-19. The partnership, which was signed at the Chamber SME Forum, is also to reinforce digital services to foster the continuity and quality of education and health services. Here's more in this report. The overall objective of this partnership is to help Ghanaian MSMEs to be more resilient. Capacity building on digital tools such as e-commerce platforms will be offered to learn or reinforce skills to sell goods even in cases of a lockdown during the pandemic. Clement Osamoako is president of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
The growth of SME is relatively less stable and more sensitive to economic cycles, firm-specific risks, and industry volatility. The research finding also shows that SME have relatively weak discounted cash flow, total turnover, and total assets, suggesting a weak value orientation. This calls for the need to build a capacity of SME to identify and address their business issues, among others, arising from economic cycles, leverage exposures, and market volatility.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Staff, Fremal Parish, says government is considerate of the challenges SMEs face. According to her, aggressive reforms are being employed to ensure SMEs are able to compete with counterparts under the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
What is of prime importance to us, and for which reason we are gathered here today, is the severe impact of the pandemic on SMEs and the way forward. This development calls for rapid and concerted efforts from both the players in the sector and government.
The Agent France for Development Group is a public entity with finance, support and expedites transitions towards a more just and sustainable world.
What we do produces and provides opportunity for so many more people. When we talk about job creation, the agenda that the government is driving to support and ensure that Ghanaian youth and businesses thrive, that is what we do on a daily basis. And most importantly, this is the avenue to try and ensure that Ghana is able to also go beyond aid. Government has ensured that the GNCCI sits on the board of the GEA so that we can learn and share and work and support MSMEs.
As a French overseas aid platform for sustainable development and investment, the AFD Group and its partners create shared solutions with and for the people of the Global South. Now, new executive officers for the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union have been sworn into office. Kwame Yankee has more from the ceremony where the Energy Ministry announced plans to lift the ban on the construction of new liquefied petroleum gas outlets.
According to Lawrence Apause, with the cylinder recirculation model coming in, there have been issues as to how to roll out the program, with one of them being the new refilling plants. There was a ban on construction of new LPG refill outlets over safety concerns following the Atomic Junction gas explosion in 2017. This drew bad blood between LPG marketers and gas tanker drivers on one hand and NPA on the other. Chief Director at the Ministry, Lawrence Apause, tells Joy Business the meeting with NPA in September will help iron out differences among stakeholders.
We are going to finalize a cabinet memo on the lifting of the ban on construction of LPG refilling plants. And the background to that is that with the cylinder recirculation model coming in, there has been issues as to how to roll out that program. One of them is the refilling plants, the new refilling plants. And some time ago, that action was suspended. And the LPG marketers have been appealing to the ministry to lift that thing. But it was a cabinet decision. And I'm saying that we are preparing the memo. We've actually prepared it. And by first week in September, we would meet with NPA and iron out the differences in it and roll it out to cabinet.
Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Poku Pempe last month revealed that Cabinet had approved rollout of CRM, which will help reduce domestic use of charcoal. It is expected that the model will push the use of LPG from current 25% to 50% by 2030. Kwame Yankesh reports for Joy Business.
Well, wildlife hunting and bushmeat trade are a major economic activity in parts of Africa, serving as a source of income for many households. But forest habitats are severely threatened when animals are overharvested as tropical forest animal species are depleted. In Ghana, management interventions have led to the imposition of a ban on hunting wildlife from August 1st to December 1. Now, though the business of bushmeat traders has been affected, the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission says it is not to allow the animal population, it is rather to allow that the animal population recovers. Live FM's Mona Lisa Frimpong has more in this report.
Bushmeat contributes significantly to food security. However, its hunting is unsustainable and causes a decline and elimination of larger-bodied species. With the exception of grass cutters, all animals are banned from being harvested in Ghana. Prices of bushmeat on the market are up following the closed season as demand for bushmeat increases. Some traders dread the impact of the closed season on their livelihood. Our bushmeat is stocked in our fridges. We are appealing to the authorities to allow us sell it off. Individuals traveling outside purchase it a lot. Unfortunately, we cannot get some for them. In Ghana, the bushmeat industry generates about 870 million cedis in revenue every year. But the government does not benefit enough as traders evade payment of taxes. George Rekubrobe is chairman of the Game Traders Association.
From 2010 to 2018, we're looking at about, for 8-year period, looking at about $350 million in the bushmeat trade. These numbers are, new ones are going to come out, but we do know that it's quite significant. So if there's any income to the government, it will be significant, especially to the Forestry Commission and to the tax system for Ghana.
The increased commercialism and demand in bushmeat shows that urgent action needs to be taken to raise awareness to local people. Dr. Zieka Meyir is wildlife veterinarian and resident manager of the Kumasi Zoological Gardens. He warns that failure to take action will result in a decline of wildlife.
Ghana's wildlife population is actually going down, and we need to all come together to take measures to make sure that we revive our wildlife resources. The local wildlife trade actually is concentrated on the bushmeat trade, and this season, which we call the closed season to hunting, harvesting and destroying of wildlife, is actually to sensitize the major stakeholders in that value chain.
Bushmeat is generally an important source of food and income in most cultures. If the animal populations are allowed to recover, there will be a boom in the bushmeat industry. Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
And that's it for business. I'll leave you with a summary of internationals, after which we have sports to stay.
Welcome back to Sports. And after an unimpressive debut in the Ghana Premier League, head coach of Legon Cities Football Club, Maxwell Kunedu, has set his sight on improving the mental fortitude of his players ahead of the 2021-2022 season. There is more in this Joy Sports report.
Legon City's debut Ghana Premier League season did not go as anticipated. The Royals finished 13th in the 2020-21 season. They played 34 games, won 11, lost 14 and drew 9, scored 34 goals and conceded 35. Legon Cities escaped relegation last season thanks to the contribution of coach Maxwell Kunedu, who joined the club before the end of the campaign. The former Asante Kotoko trainer has begun pre-season with his players, and his primary task is to inculcate a winning mentality in his players.
I love, developing players, unearthing talents and, giving them the platform to excel. That's one thing I love doing. But players have to get their mindset right. They have to believe in themselves. They have to, fight on the pitch together as one unit. I think that is the little that I've seen. Some do fight all right, but others are relaxed in a way. Everybody has to fight. The team has good players, good management, and they have a fantastic fan base. So
owners of Legon Cities are confident the club will excel under the tutelage of Maxwell Kunedu.
Now, President of Ghana Boxing, Abraham Kotei-Nikwe, and members of the executive board have paid a visit to the training grounds of West Africa featherweight champion Alfred Bukom Bomba Lamte in order to motivate him as he prepares for the WBC Youth Silver and WBO Youth titles fight against Idi Kayumba of Tanzania. The president expressed his desire to support Lamte win a world title under his leadership.
September 4th. I'm very sure that I'm going to win my first world title. As a president, I just took office, and I'm happy to be here with my team to support my boy Lamte to win the title. I've seen Lamte for a very long time. He's a very good boxer. He's very disciplined, and then looking at his training level, he's going to win the title for Ghana. Oh yes, this is what we do as GBA. Whenever there is a world title shots like this, we come in and donate to the boxers. Now we are also here to donate money to our boy so that it can motivate him to buy some few vitamins and other things that is going to help me to perform well on the D-Day. We are giving him this because we are also expecting something on 4th September from him. So as we are here, we want to motivate him. Then coming 4th September, he will also lift up the flag of Ghana high. The promoter is working very hard, and the GBA is also working closely with the promoter. With the security arrangements, GBA and the promoter, we are in charge. Everything is in order, and we want to assure them it is not only this particular world title on the bill, but I have another bill that good boxers. So we assure the public they will come and enjoy boxing. Somebody will say the new face of boxing. Yes, and it's going to happen.
That's it for now. You can read more sports at myjoyonline.com/sports. I am Hans Mensando.
You can log on to myjoyonline.com. You find a lot more stories.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Good morning and welcome to News File.